Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day today. So we're going to be doing a very easy, simple, and natural makeup look, and I'm going to be using a handful of Tower 28 products for today. So for those of you who want just more of like a laid back makeup routine, if you don't really want to have a whole lot of steps, or maybe for those days where you're rushing to get out of the house and you just want to do something kind of quick, I think that this would be the makeup routine for you. I think most of the looks that I've been doing lately have been a bit more done up, so I figured for today we would do something a bit more laid back, and I wanted to try out some new Tower 28 products that I just picked up in the Sephora haul. So that is what we're going to get into today. So before we get started, if you're here for the first time, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole and I do makeup videos here catering to the 40 and over crowd, but of course everyone is welcome. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you join the channel and I would be so grateful for your support. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. Okay, so as you can see, my brows are already done, so we're going to jump right into complexion. And of course, we're going to be using the Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen. So I did do a dedicated wear test video on this, and I tested out shade number 50, and I thought that the shade match was okay. I did notice a little bit of like a white cast, and most of y'all said in the comments that you didn't really notice the white cast, but there were a couple of you that said that you could tell like what I was talking about. So Tower 28 sent me another shade to try out. So this one is the shade 55. I asked them to just shade match me and they suggested this one. So I'm going to be showing y'all swatches of shades 50 and 55, and we'll see if 55 is a better match. Now because these are tinted sunscreens, I think I'll be able to use both of them. So this one, the lighter one up here, this one is shade 50. This is the one that I tested out, and down here this is shade 55. And I do feel like 55 is a closer match. So I'm going to start off with this one. And if I think it's too dark, then I'll go back to 50, or maybe I'll have to mix two of them together. All right, let me make sure I'm picking up the right one. Yeah, this is 55. And then I'm going to be blending this one out with a sponge. This is one of those products that I feel like I can use either a brush or a sponge. Oh yeah, this is definitely a better shade match. It's like melting right into my skin. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, this product is one of those ones where I can do either a brush or a sponge, and I'll like it either way, but I'm gonna go in with the sponge because even though this is not really meant to give you a whole lot of coverage, I still like to build my coverage up when I can. So I would prefer to go in with a lighter coverage and then build it up to where I want it to be. Yeah, this is definitely a really good shade match. I feel like it's like a perfect match for my skin. So thank you to Tower 28 for sending me this. So this is basically one layer. I am going to go in with a little bit more. The good thing about like tinted sunscreens and tinted moisturizers and products like that, you can build them up and they'll still look really natural on the skin. So for this second layer, I'm concentrating it on the cheeks where I have a lot of old acne scarring and things like that, and I am just going to put just a little bit more everywhere else, but I wanted most of that second layer to go onto the cheeks. And you can still see some stuff because this just isn't meant to be like a full coverage product, but it's still, you know, evening everything out and covering up a good amount of stuff. Okay, so that is what the complexion is looking like. So if you didn't see my first video on this, I'll link it so you can look at that and compare and let me know which one you like best. I definitely think 55 is a better shade match for me. This one, 50, yeah, 50, I can still get away with it, but 55 definitely looks like it matches my skin a little bit better. So now we're gonna go into concealer. Now, if I'm doing a look that's a bit more done up, lately I should say, I have been using my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer as a color corrector underneath my under eye concealer, but today I do want something that's a bit more laid back, a little bit more natural, and I just don't want to do like as many steps as I normally would. So I'm going to skip that and go right into under eye concealer, and I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch concealer. This is a very natural looking concealer, but it still gives quite a bit of coverage. And it blends out really, really easily. I feel like I say that in like every video that I've done since I tried this ABH concealer. I'm always talking about how easy it blends out, but that's really like what stands out to me about this concealer, how easy it is to work with. So you guys always see me switch over to a brush to blend out concealer on the corners of my mouth and under the eye. But for those of you who are looking for a quicker makeup routine, you can also blend these areas out with a sponge and it will blend out faster. But just remember that a sponge will also shear your product out a little bit. So you may have to go in with a couple of layers. But even if you do, your sponge is going to let you blend out a lot faster. I just like to go in with a brush just to help give me a little bit more coverage. But if I'm doing like a really quick routine, like I'm just like rushing to get out the house or something like that, I will just use a sponge for my under eye. But usually I'll do a brush. I'm putting just a little bit of this on the eyelid too, just to lighten up that area. I'm not really doing an eyeshadow look per se for today, but I still want to blend out some of that darkness. And then I just always like to drag my concealer down, kind of like to where my nose stops. And then I'm just kind of like taking the residual and kind of getting like toward the center of my face, just to, you know, balance it out a little bit. And then if you feel like you need to, you can always go back to your concealer, to your sponge or brush, whatever you use to apply it. And then you can just do like one more final blend and then concentrate on those areas where foundation is meeting concealer, just to make sure you don't have any like harsh lines anywhere. So I'm going to be using a cream blush and bronzer from Tower 28. So I'm going to put those on first before I put my setting powder on. So this is their, what is this called? This is their BeachPlease cream blush in the shade Golden Hour. This is one of the products that I bought in my Sephora VIB haul. So I really want to use the butt of the sponge to apply this, but it has a good amount of foundation on it. So I'm going to start with this side here. It's like the small flat side. I do feel like the butt of the sponge would be better, but let me just see what I get with this. So I like to apply my blush kind of like right above the apples of my cheek, and I knew I was gonna really like this shade because it's like a really deep, almost like burnt orange shade. And I definitely prefer powder blushes, but I mean, I know I just put this on. This is my first time trying this, so I know I just put this on, but even though I prefer powder blushes, if I really like this, which so far I really do, I might get another shade, like more of a pinkish shade, just so I can have, you know, a couple of options. Yeah, that's a really pretty color. So next we're going into cream bronzer, and this is actually one of my favorite bronzers, but y'all don't see me use it all that often because I don't like it quite as much as that Say Beauty bronzer that I keep bragging about, but this one is really nice too. So this is the cream bronzer in the shade Best Coast. And I'm going to be applying this with a brush. I think I'm actually going to use this brush today. This is usually the brush that I would use for my cream blushes, but I just really wanted to try to apply that cream blush with that sponge. So I'm going to go in with this for today. This has like a really nice golden red hue to it, so it makes for a really nice bronzer for people who like reddish bronzers. No, this is too flimsy for the bronzer. Hold on. So I'm gonna go in with this one. This is what I usually use for bronzer. That first brush was just too flimsy. So if you like golden reddish bronzers as opposed to like golden yellow bronzers, this would be a good one to try out. Yeah, that's a lot better. And this one looks really, really bronzy when it hits like natural sunlight. Let me show y'all an up close of that. Can you see kind of like how it's reflective a little bit? Because of that, it gets like really, just like really bronzy when you're out in natural sun. And then just hitting the jawline just a little bit. Let me build this up on the forehead. Just a smidge. And then also put some on the nose. I feel like y'all can really tell on the nose how like red this bronzer is. And then I'm gonna take my residual foundation and soften that back out. So I don't want to do like a whole eyeshadow look for today, but I do want a little bit of something on the eye. So I'm going to take this same cream bronzer and I'm just picking up a little bit more on a blending brush, an eyeshadow blending brush. And I'm just going to put some of this kind of like halfway through the crease, I guess, and then also on the outer part of the lid. I just want to add just a little bit of color and a little bit of dimension up here. And now I'm going to set everything in place. So usually I use my Sephora Micro Smooth powder to set my foundation. The past few times I've done my makeup, I've been using this Kosas powder. This is the Cloud Set powder in the shade Pillowy. So I'm gonna be using this one for today because you know how when you pick something up for the first time in a while and then you realize that, you know, you just kind of forgot, you know, why you like it so much? That was pretty much the case with this. So ever since I picked it up for a Shop My Stash video, I've been like using it ever since. And I won't say it's better than the Sephora powder, but I would say it's just as good. So, you know, I'm just using this just to, you know, get some use out of it. And I'm just going to set everywhere. Now, if you feel like you have really oily skin, I have oily skin, but I don't think I'm like super duper oily, but I do have oily skin. If you feel like your skin is really oily, you might want to use something that's a bit more dense or maybe even like a sponge so that you can like really press the powder into your face since we used a bunch of cream products for today. But for me, this is enough. I am putting on just a little bit more powder than I usually would because I used all cream products. But I don't feel the need to like really press it into the skin. But if you do feel like you have super oily skin, you might want to consider that. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that powder on this brush. Oh, you know what? I never set my under eye concealer. Oh my goodness. Let me do that right now. I'm going to take my brush that I use to apply the concealer and just pat back over it one more time. I can't believe I forgot to do that. Okay, that's because I use cream blush and bronzer, so I guess that kind of messed me up a little bit. But anyway, I'm taking a little bit more of the powder on this brush and I'm just gonna lightly set the under eye area. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that and just lightly tap over that cream bronzer that I put on my lid. I do have oily eyelids, and because that's a cream product that I put up there, I just want to make sure that that is set in place. Now, if you want to, you can take any highlighter that you have or any shimmery eyeshadow, and you can put just a little bit of a inner corner highlight on. So I'm going to tap into this Too Faced Born This Way Natural Nudes palette, and I think I want to try maybe this shade here for today. This actually looks like it might be a bit more glittery. Yeah, that's a bit more glittery than I would like. So let me go into this shade here. This is more of like a rose gold shade. I'm gonna put just a little bit of that on. Yeah, this is picking up a bit more shimmery and not so much glittery. I'm just putting just a little bit of this on. And I feel like it might be barely noticeable, but that's what I want. I just want it to be just a little bit of something right there in the inner corner. So let me know if y'all can even make it out. But like I said, I don't want it to be like super drastic. I'm doing my eyeliner and mascara off camera like I always do. This is the Hank & Henry eyeliner. I'm going to go in with the Rare Beauty mascara on the top lashes and the Illia Limitless lash mascara on the bottom lashes, and then I will be right back. And to finish everything off, I'm going to be using a Tower 28 lip gloss. I've been wanting to try this for a very long time. This is their ShineOn lip jelly in the shade Cashew. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a really nice everyday shade for me. And I'm looking forward to experiencing the formula because a lot of people really like this. wow, it's really nice. It's like really, really smooth on the lips. Like the way it applies. It's like really smooth. Like it feels like almost like a whipped butter, I guess. It feels like the NYX, those NYX lip glosses. The NYX butter glosses. That's what it feels like. So I can definitely go on with a lip liner with this if I wanted to. But I think I'm just going to leave it like this for today because I just want something that's like really nice and natural and kind of simple. So I think we're going to stop right here for today. Okay guys, and here is the finished look using a bunch of Tower 28 products to do a very easy, simple, everyday natural makeup look. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the video today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.